This is PICC Computer Science video 39 looking at assignment and arithmetic operations. When we think of the term operation, we might think of an operation being something that changes something else, just like a surgeon operates on a human being to change the state of that human being. Our operations in programming do the same sort of thing. For an example, an assignment operator is an instruction that gives a value which could be the result of a calculation to a specified variable and does it using the equal sign. So an assignment operator changes the value of a variable. Here's an example. Variable's called DBL salary and we're setting it to a numeric value. But assignment could also take the form of this example, where DBL salary is actually being made equal to a result of a calculation. Both examples are assignment, and that's pretty straightforward. That brings us on to the term initializing. Initialization is to set counters or variables to 0 or some other starting value, so it doesn't have to be 0, usually at the beginning of a program or a subprogram. If we were to look at a pseudocode example of this, here's a procedure called main, and within that procedure a variable called total is being initialized. It's been given its starting value. If we were to look at some VB.NET code to do the same thing, it would look a bit different, but the same thing would be happening. Here we're declaring a variable and giving it an identifier and a data type, and here we are initializing it. This final example does the same as the previous example, but all on one line. Assignment and initializing being a way of assigning a value, they are the most simple type of operation. We get a little bit more complicated with arithmetic operations. These are where mathematics are applied to values. So a definition: arithmetic operators manipulate numbers by carrying out normal arithmetic tasks such as addition or subtraction. So maths, basically. There are two types: binary operators and unary operators. Binary operators act upon two operands, and operands are the numbers to be calculated upon. For example, our arithmetic operator, the plus sign there, is acting upon two operands, which are 5 and 3, and adding them together. Unary operators act upon only one operand. So the example there shows the minus sign and 3, and that denotes, of course, minus 3. You'll need to pause the video and have a look at this table to see how different arithmetic operators, plus the two versions of the minus sign, the little star for multiplication, the / for ordinary real division, where we returned an exact result, the backslash, or the command div, for what we call integer or quotient division, where we only get a whole number as a result. And then there's the mod command, when applied to two numbers will give the remainder of the first number divided by the second number. You'll want to try these out with some VB.NET code at some point to see how they all behave. But here's a little example to whet your appetite. We've got a form with two very simple numbers in, and this form should allow for these numbers to be added together with the code that's behind the button. So if I double click on the button, here's my code, two variables being declared, given identifiers, data types, and they are assigned a value, or in this case initialized values, basically assigned the values from the text boxes, the corresponding text boxes. Then the two are added together using an arithmetic operator. There's our assignment operators. Here's our arithmetic operator. So when I run this, the simple maths is applied and we get our expected answer of 2. What might be interesting is if we looked at the code that's behind the second button. I've just hidden it. I'm just going to bring it into view. Here the two variables are declared as strings, and assignment is still happening, and an arithmetic operator, or so it appears, is used here as well to try and do the same thing to those two values. But when we run the program this time and click on the second button, we get probably an unexpected answer of 1, 1. And what's happening there is the plus sign is not being treated as an arithmetic operator, but it's actually being used as part of a string manipulation, which we'll look at in a future video. So keep your eye out for that sort of thing. If we go back to our table that shows our different arithmetic operators, one thing we will want to bear in mind is the use of BIDMAS. You should be aware of BIDMAS from maths: brackets, indices, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction, and that's the order that things are given precedence in normal mathematical equations. Well, the same thing applies with our arithmetic operators, and you'll want to try out some of that in your coding, and you also might want to do some further reading into something called the operator precedence, which considers arithmetic operators, but also needs to consider some types of operators we'll look at in future videos, such as relational or comparison operators, Boolean operators, because in code things need to happen in a certain order, and it's worth just pausing this and having a little read for a moment. We will look at the other operators and the order of operator precedence that you saw on that last slide in future videos, but I hope that one was useful to get you started on different types of operation.